The stage is quite literally set. A third map for the grand final of the Intel Extreme Masters between SK Gaming and NiP, the ninjas in pajamas. The Brazilians have genuinely won majors in this territory. Cobblestone was where they felled Liquid and raised the trophy at ESL 1 Cologne, and now there's a different story. And to tell that story is myself, Machine, YNK, and Dazed for the final pre-match of the tournament. It's been an absolutely wild ride, gentlemen, but now we have to understand Cobblestone. And actually, you know what? It's not as simple as that. Yes, they may have raised the trophy after winning Cobble versus North American side Liquid, but also they lost to Heroic in the group stages. NiP have looked good on this. Historically, SK have beaten NiP. There's so many things flying across our face in terms of, how this one's going to go down. Fortunately, there's more to it. And Dazed, I'd like to start with you. You have a much more profound knowledge of the South Americans than many. Cobblestone for SK. What have we got to kind of watch out for if you're an NiP fan? What can they do oh so well on this very map?
Well, NiP has to be very, very careful of on SK's T side, their constant force buys. They'll buy Tech 9s with limited utility, but they'll make every use of it and burst onto things. We talk a lot about SK bursting, but that's really what they do. On that B site, they'll jump through the smoke fearlessly, and they'll execute their strats extremely quickly around drop and try to get any type of pinches going on. They did play this in the group stage. SK did win 16-9.
Yeah.
And it was pretty easy for him, to be honest, with 11-round CT side half. Having said that, I think NiP will probably be pretty prepared on it, but that's what they need to be careful of. Those force buys, the quickness of how SK executes, and you need to react to it fast and react to it properly.
It is funny how often we see SK lose the pistol and win the second. These guys just have stupid amounts of firepower with just a $700 investment, these Deagles doing damage. Now, the same kind of question, but flipped for you, Yanko. I mean, you, Mr. Master of European Counter-Strike, know all about NiP on Cobble. I mean, what are we going back onto it?
That's the thing, SK is very strong in those force buys with pistols, but you need to understand that the team with rifles, in this case, for example, NiP, they have the advantage. If they play it properly, the chances of their opponents winning that rounds are very slim, and they were really good at that in the beginning of the year. When Threat was behind them, that was the thing that we praised the most about them, playing those anti-force buy rounds. So for them is finding that discipline in those rounds to clinch it, and it's also because they had a weak T side in group stages, it's about being methodical in their play, right? Not making those small mistakes, throwing the good pop flashes when they go for that map control, because SK can be shaky towards that A bomb side. Sometimes Fallen and Fur can be disjointed, playing like two individuals instead of like a pair. Yeah, on the CT side. So it's for NiP, and also you question if SK fell into that trap similar to FaZe, where yes, NiP lost to them in the group stages pretty convincingly, but now they have a lot they can learn from that matchup, and they can prepare for SK much better, because NiP did win in the end that overpass game against FaZe.
We have received word the players are keen to get this map underway, as I would be too if I've got a $300,000 tournament to win. My final question then, and it has to be just the team name, is, gentlemen, who is going to be winning and lifting the IEM Oakland trophy? Sam first, just the team name.
SK.
Yanko, believing in the defending world champions? No, we have a split desk. Going for the Swedes then, the Serbian Stallion goes for the Ninjas in pajamas, and now to cast through our grand final, it is a deadly duo of their own. It's not Forest, it's not Get Right, it's going to be Henry G and Sadakis to cast through this grand final. A third map, which just gets us all the more hyped to see who will be our IEM champion for Oakland here.
Thank you very much, Alex. By my counts, and I think I just did this in my head correctly,
go on.
This will be the 10th $250,000 plus tournament this year. We've had 7 different winners in the 7 most recent ones that were of that prize pool or greater. The only team to win 2 this year is NiP and SK.
Wow. That's an interesting stat. Thank you for doing your homework.
You're welcome.
Well,
it's rare that I do, but just think about that, because if you want to call it an era, NiP, this is a big comeback year after 2015.
In my opinion, this is where the grand final really starts. We've had the two, not necessarily one-sided maps. You could see SK a little bit out of their depth in that first half. It certainly wasn't comfortable for them. They managed to make it a very close game, of course, but still, we didn't expect them to win that one. This one, a little bit 50-50, I would say. Historically, SK Gaming have had the drop on NiP throughout the last 4 encounters, I think it was. And this one, I just feel like grand finals time. It can go either way. We're having the knife round right now. It's currently 1-on-1 between Taco and Get Right. They're enjoying themselves, as you can see. Throwing the weapons.
Yeah, they're passing the weapons back and forth to each other. It's actually kind of comical. I would say at Cobblestone, it's not as important as we've seen in the last map, especially on Train when you're playing SK. So Taco's won it, but not as important to pick a side. But
it's just where you feel more comfortable, I think.
Absolutely.
Right? It's where you want to be starting off. It's not really heavily dictated by saying, oh, it's obviously you've got to start T side. I think it's actually going to be SK winning the knife round and staying on CT. So there you go. But there we go. Look, it's going to be the third and final map here, Matthew.
Yeah, I mean, this, like you say, is where it starts to kick off. We've seen a lot of series like this year, even in various grand finals, where you get two teams with such strong map pools that they have one map that's better than the other teams, and as such, you get their map choices picked, one, and then you find a very neutral third map, and I think that's exactly where we are. It's also Cobblestone, which plays very differently than Cash, where the CTs have the availability to get aggressive and shut down the execution.
Although we didn't see much of that on Cash, I have to say.
True,
both teams quite passive. But you're absolutely right. Cobble is limited in the options actually proposes to the CTs. You can't do too much apart from maybe boosting and drop down and maybe pushing long A.
And I was going to say his Train is very similar as well. So it comes to choke point and bleeding out utility. So it's still a bit of an economic factor in this.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the third and final map. You've been sensational all weekend. For one last time, let's make some noise. SK Gaming versus Ninjas in Pajamas. This map decides it all. 4 sets of armor for an IP. Freiburg, Molotov and flashbangs here. Most teams do favor towards that B side. There's initial encounters here, but there's no reason why SK can't go aggressive with the silent USPs and try and make something happen. It does suggest they're going to have to do that.
And the read from SK is exactly that. Fallen, top, mid, connector, door. Other 4, drop or B site respectively. That's very close to cap just off. Taco misses a few shots though. Drops them in early, and they've already covered off toward Chicken Coop, but Taco recovers. Snaps back around. Freiburg does burn fur and then takes down Taco immediately after. It's not a soft shell Taco anymore. He's been crisped up quite nicely as Exist is going to take down FNX as well. And Cold's got 4 HP. Headshots required on that USP. And look how close Exist is getting. Headshots required. Far range. He's got Freiburg as well. Looks for the second, but Exist is there. And NiP finally gets some momentum early.
What a brawl of a round that was. It was Taco opening things up with a sick, crispy USP shots. And it comes down to the 1v1. Cold Zera trying to shut it down, but only had 4 HP. Exist rushes him. No plan required. It's going to be 1-0 here in the final map. I assume we will see some sort of force buy here from SK Gaming. They're going to come with the Desert Eagles and Taco with the Mag 7. This could be a little bit more interesting than I thought. Get those AKs and some SMGs for an IP.
Exist in Forest. Closest to the B site so far. Get Right, we know, likes to play the top of drop. Seems to be the common lurk position. Q happy, but he plays it a little bit more passively and looks for kills early, but then doesn't drop down and commit until the site is opened up.
Now, the analysts were just pointing out how strong, especially on this map, SK Gaming are with the pistols. The good news is, though, NiP are one of the best teams on the anti-ecos, it seems. They can actually hold it off. They're very disciplined. We described it before on that first map. They're very good at keeping all 5 players alive and eradicating risks. They use their utility properly and making sure they're using that buddy system. No one's dying without a return frag coming in. That's the problem for SK Gaming going into this one. The bomb's in the B halls for now. No one really committing. It looks like Freiburg and Pig will be trying to hunt towards long A, get some information on that side of the map. There are 2 CDs waiting for them in the crossfire.
Fallen is one of which. Who's looking for the headshot potential. Doesn't go for the peak when Freiburg does arrive, though, but that could actually pull him into that crossfire. It's found, it's spotted, it's taken down. Well done from NiP. Exactly as I mentioned, and you pointed it out, they know they have to be aggressive against these force buys. Cold does pull back Pith as they get ready to throw out the nades, though. That'll be one smoke down toward the top of the door that they won't have in place. May not matter. They elect to put it out rather than on balcony to compensate for that position, and Exist is going to take a 3rd kill in the round regardless. It's down to FNX and Taco, and Bomb smartly goes inside of the smoke in the hands of Get Right.
Well, there it is. They managed to negate the Mag 7 at that point, going towards long A, shutting down that crossfire. The bomb's planted in, and only dropped 1 frag here. Another great anti-DQ coming in from NiP. 2 players remain with the CT at this point. FNX has got a Zeus and a silent USP. Taco probably wants to be saving that Mag 7 at this point. Every kill he gets with it is $900 in the bank, but taking it to the next round, I think that's going to be more beneficial. They'll have a chance of winning the round at least. You can see FNX here getting a little bit cheeky with the Zeus, hoping that someone goes through the position. It would be a bit of a nightmare to go through at this point. Get Right. Okay, just jump through, and it's going to be FNX looking away. Baited in by his teammate perhaps from the vent area, and it's going to be Taco towards drop down with this Mag 7.
Nobody's quite as skilled, I think, or as proficient with that weapon as Jordan is. Nothing. Found a kill in the group stages. He's been known to do so.
Yeah, I'd say that's fairly accurate. Taco will be saving the Mag 7, though, so that's something to work with next round.
It's quite the claim to have, right? You know, Cloud9 might have gone out in groups this time. Okay, let's give him credit. They did win Pro League, but, you know, at least he's the best Zeus player in the world.
That's true. Something, at least. Well, here we go then. Round number 3. Not much can really be brought from SK Gaming here. This is a T-sided map for sure still, and NiP have a chance to build some bank here, and if they can take those SMGs into the next round, after the force wipe from SK Gaming, they'll be limited with like the head armor, the incendiaries. That's when you really can sink your teeth into this game, and the Ninjas now looking to keep all 5 players alive once again. It's Taco this time towards long A. Chenyu's positioning up, he was actually towards broken wall last round, didn't get anything for it. Can he find a kill this time?
Meanwhile, the AK drawn from Exist looks toward the common position of the burrow of stairs. That's where Fallen elects to play from. Doesn't quite peek now, will. Does actually better damage in return than he received as he puts Exist down to 45. He's got to be careful though, because they are getting closer and closer, and they flushed him out with the Molotov. Forrest is able to catch him with the UMP immediately thereafter. They've got the man advantage to work with. Bomb intentionally dropped as well. Back toward the Dragon Lore mural. They'll grab that and start to head to B on that first pick alone. Smartly so, they'll slow it. Taco, as that's with the shotgun, still going to be left out toward the hay bales. He won't have any opportunity to try and find a close angle now.
Wherever he goes, it seems NiP are going in the other direction. It will be a B-side commitment at this point. Not really much the Cities can do about it. As I said, that cold arrow, the headshot from the silent USP, and he will be dropped by Freiberg in return. And they are doing damage at least, but it's not going to be enough to win the round at this point. Third down to 10 HP, and Taco once again coming in the back with this max 7. He's going to be alone as well.
Yep, it builds up some cash on that kill, and Taco doesn't really have much options. We're going to be going into a gun round regardless here, so if you can pick up kills, you can pick up money. That's more important at this point.
It's still, if you can just save the weapon, it's still viable in gun rounds, right? So it's still worth saving to some extent, not just throwing it away. So if you can stay alive and get a kill, that would be perfect.
Hey, there's 3 positions that you can play it from. We've seen 2 of them already from him. You can play drop, you can play the broken wall, and you can play out toward the hay bales. With it, does pick up that first kill, low HP on the second. If you had got 2, that's money built up. But again, just with 1, we're going into a gun round. That'll pay off in terms of utility, and they do have a position to go for an AWP. It wouldn't be the most idyllic buy, but they're going to go for it. Fallen doesn't surprise anyone with that buy. Leaves him a little bit light on utility.
Well then, NiP will be upgrading to the AK-47s. They brought an AWP of their own. It's going to be in the hands of Forrest this time, the first real gun round here. You can see the cities are limited. After force buy in the second, it's always a bit of a challenge in the first gun round. You can see they have got 1 kit, no incendiaries, and Fallen, no head armor there. Against the Gillo, that's a bit of a problem, but not such an issue against the AKs, I have to say. He's towards long A this time, looking for that aggressive pick. NiP do like to focus on this area, and the first flashbang comes in. Pitt's been great so far. Good timing on the flashbang, actually forces Fallen to fall back.
It doesn't peek it too soon as well to try and catch him turning. He just wants to get position rather than a kill, and that's the smart play. Fallen through the smoke as well, tagged to 15. As Pith continues to spray in, hopeful. Again, the goal wasn't to get the kill off the back of that flashbang, it's just to get map control, and that gives NiP so much to work with a minute and 10 to work with.
It forces a rotation. That's normally the aim of the game in Counter-Strike. You want to be pulling CTs away from the B side, not allowing them to have information towards long out or even middle at this point. So you can see Fallen and Fer now have to be committed to the A side of the map, and will be Fer actually holding towards long A. He's got backup from Fallen. He's trying to bait in Fer, for example. He'll take that first shot, and Fer can run around the corner. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw an execution at this point. NiP in great position to smoke towards the connector, Molotov the balcony, and try and allow Forrest to get some position here with the AWP.
For the one waiting around the corner in a close angle, and Fallen low HP on that AWP. It can't really peek from the hut because the players at bottom mid is 1 and done. Has to go large here, does get traded. That's pretty much as expected, but at least he comes out with a kill because it'll slow them slightly. Fallen's elected to go passive. They've got 2 approaches covered off, but a rotation coming in early. Cold, first one in the sight, found by Forrest, but a shot, Fallen's there. Traded back by Pitt. This will put the bomb in position, and FNX does fight back to catch Get right off inside of the vent. That'll put him in a position where he can catch both on top of the site, and he's done it. FNX finds 1, Taco's there for the other. They both wrap around. And they'll get the defuse on the first gun.
Well, a very back and forth round there. It was NiP opening things up, but it was equal exchanges throughout. And crisp aim from FNX and Taco to finish things off there. Fallen doing everything he could on 15 HP. He hits 1 shot. Well, this does take him down there, but that was such a huge round. In terms of the money game, SK needed to win that. That could have been a quick 5-0 for NiP. That's Forrest taking that cold 0 there. But still, a lot of reset potential here. NiP certainly still have money. As we go into round number 5, 4 AKs, no AWP this time. Get will be on the UMP. Not necessarily a big deal. He's one of the players that likes to go towards drop down. It's a close range encounter in that position. It means he can have a lot more running gun potential as well. Number 5, Fallen. Will he be changing his position? He's actually going to be towards danger this time. Not as aggressive as he was before. Does rotate back into the same position though.
He's got the shot lineup. Pith, same thing, same flash. He's got his teammate as well with 1 this time, but Fur, he's the change of play. Oh! Pith gets him down low and then misses a bullet, nearly comes out dead because he's on 9 HP. Good response for all things considered, but in the end, man advantage again for NiP, and Freiburg, he's taking full advantage of this. He's got disables, has fallen, still retreating, sitting duck, down he goes. Second player not quite exposed from the APC, and thankfully so, because that gives Cold a chance to respond. Catches the low HP on Pith as well. Watch the Molotov for Forrest. This will open up the doorway. I don't quite think he'll push through. There's no one to flash for him. He sees bullets coming both directions. He just wants to hold off the rotation. Does so. FNX down. Knows Cold's on top of the site. And his teammates just now getting in a position where they can start to capitalize. He's actually going to take it into his own positions because they're rotating around behind. And the bomb on the B site, he just does so much work to keep them on the A. Cold especially, completely removed. Taco may take him down, but he's got a lot of work to walk back in, and he may have to just back out of this. They've got kits on both players, but if they don't find a pick soon, this is going to be a hard position to go in, especially only winning one gun.
Yeah, get right there, waiting for it behind the doors with the UMP. Like, close range position exists on the other side as well. Next kill to be very influential. Can Taka do anything about this?
Get right still in behind that rock position as well, gives them a perfect crossfire. He'll call, double peek to come out, exist in the wall. Right position to be in, doesn't commit, knows Cold still inside of the archway. And again, they still have the crossfire. Lovely shot on the way through.
Could have been a little bit dangerous there for NiP, with a 2 versus 1 works in their favor. Like you said, great crossfire, smoking them out, forcing them to go towards the drop down, the connector position. And this was a really nice round from NiP. More of the same, getting that first pick towards long A. Back towards B they went. coldzera doing everything he can to keep them in that round, but that is a pretty harsh reset here. 4-1 on the T side of Cobble. And it looks like we have got a small investment here. We've got coldzera on the CZs. FNX is going to join him as well. The Deagles come out. But still, ultimately this is an eco from SK Gaming. NiP with a fantastic start here on Cobble.
Back 10 for Pith. 3 SMGs in total, going up against the pistols. Cold's got armor. If difference it makes, drive-by shooting for Forrest. Down goes Taco. NiP. Decent control, and as well with this, having just one nice shot from Freiburg. The ensuing round after losing the gun, they'll start to build up some economy on these SMGs if they can find the kills. In fact, $6,000 still in exist right now. Get right finding that kill. That's going to put him back before the round even concludes at 1850. They should almost have a round in hand if they do this correctly.
This should be a double eco going forward as well. CTs will only get $1,900 in the next round. There's 2 players on around $1,000. They're going to have to take another eco here. This could be 6-1 in the third and final map here. NiP looking very promising to take this third map. We'll see what comes in. SK Gaming purchasing a max 7 there. That's in the hands of coldzera. He's got a bit more residual cash than his teammates, so that's not a huge deal. He passes off to Fallen as well. So what have they got up their sleeve here? Going to be buying a few more Deagles and PT-50s. No HE grenades, which is common in these sort of purchases. You want to do that airstrike towards a B platform there, but for now, Deagles, 1 smoke, and Fallen with the max 7. Let's see what he tries to do here towards the broken wall area.
For the only one on the A site, it's going to play a little bit closer. We said there's possibilities for these shotguns. Bomb drop down as well inside of the B tunnels. Means both directions could still be approached from NiP. They know the situation again. They're playing very passive. They're playing very smart in these anti-ecos. You touched on that last map as well.
Yeah, it's not giving anything away. They're making sure they're a tight unit on either side of the map, watching the B halls, watching for any boost coming in, and they've got long A control as well. Pit checks towards danger. They can actually see there's no CTs in this position anymore, so they actually can do a full execution and give themselves the maximum possible chance of winning this round.
Not to say the site itself is completely void of defense, because Taco and Fur are both there. Not exactly in prime positions with pistols to capitalize. Taco might be able to swing in from stables and catch one, but this will be traded because they're now approaching with multiple players in that position at long. There it is, there's the swing. There's more than he's worth, gets 2, Taco. Lovely stuff. Forrest does respond to catch out Fur, but he's still got headshot potential, Taco. 3 quick kills, finally Get Right puts him down. That gives the man advantage to SK. Fortunately, from the perspective of NiP, they haven't been able to grab rifles on this, but look at the rotation that it's caused. They've got 25 seconds. They've got to go on A. They've got a player at barrels that can be baited in, and FNX has exist down. Get Right's got it all to do, and he falls as well. Lovely work from Taco.
One of the crispest PD-50 rounds I think we've seen in quite a while there. They didn't really have much to work with. A couple of PD-50 CZs and a max 7. Taco completely destroys them. What a play this was. Just look how calm and calculated it is as well. That second shot, unbelievable. Third one pretty much wins around at this point. Really, really strong stuff from Taco there. Gives a lifeline towards SK Gaming. They've saved up that max 7. They bring that into round number 8 here, and they've got the rifles to work with as well. Not so much in terms of reset potential. Now they've got a bit more money left over in the bank, but still, it's still will be looming as we're going to round number 8. NiP with 5 rifles and all the utility they need as Piff goes down to 10 HP.
Tagged up his Pit thoroughly, but Get Right. He'll find the opening kill onto Cold. What a win to get. You talked about double eco territory. Well, that gives them guns up, but convert it. They've got to find victories on the CT side. One round we saw the op come up. Haven't seen it much for Fallen otherwise. Get Right, he'll commit to this. Flash goes over, he's a little bit early and looks the wrong direction, so he actually gets blinded, but thankfully no one at Chicken Coop to capitalize for a wide peek. FNX the closest at this point. They have brought Taco a little bit onto the statue, but he gets taken down immediately. FNX responding, has to watch drop as well. Freiburg. Rear entry makes it work. Inside the smoke, Fur. Here's bomb going in. Can't even find the player though. He's surrounded by that smoke, completely engulfed in it, and as a result, when he walks back out, Exist has the position. It's Fallen again on the shotgun, last alive, and after winning a great round, money suddenly haunts them again as NiP make their 6th onto the board.
There it is. The B play comes in, it's Get Right. Just lurking in that smoke, finds the first frag. His teammates start to come join him at that point. They go together, the smokes are down, and no one can really get going there on the SK side. They can't string rounds here either. That's only their 2nd, and they've been reset once again. They're gonna have to go for, it seems like a force by Matt. coldzera has gone all in, and he's got himself a CZ, FNX with the M4. This could be the beginning of the end. Might require a double eco after this if they don't win this round, and it's looking unlikely. 1 shotgun, 3 pistols, and FNX on the M4A4. A quick play through the smoke. It's going to be Forrest this time with the UMP in hand, looking for unarmored heads. Not going to find any just yet. They haven't worked out. It's actually a force by coming in, but still, the majority of the players for SK on the A side of the map.
Cold in the corner. Finds anything with the CZ, jumps up, flashes in, finds Pith, who had an 8 out, gets away as well as the smokes come through. Again, they find opening kills with these pistols and Cold. He's still in a prime position. The M4 walks back over and FNX gets the shot. The 1 rifle is paying off for them in low HP. Bomb drop temporarily. Cold's trying to wait for this. They're going to boost on top of the tree. He stays inside of the smoke, but he spots it. They have no idea. And Cold goes back out again on the B site. He steps up on the CT side, and again without weapons. SK are going to take a round away. Get Right trying to do what he can, but he's completely surrounded, and Cold does it alone.
4 kills for coldzera. Just lurking in that smoke, waiting for the perfect time to strike at that point. NiP a little bit reluctant to go into the side, didn't want to commit. They were waiting for the smoke to die down. The boost comes in, and coldzera, look at this timing. So idyllic for him. He finds a headshot with the CZ and actually manages to take down 4 down overall. It's going to be another lifeline for SK Gaming. A force buy that works in their favor once more, but once again, they have to invest into this round and they lose it. It's another force buy situation or eco. They need to start stringing some rounds together here. This time they've got some AKs though, but still struggling in terms of the AWP. 3 players, I think, make it 2 towards long A. Going to be challenging more, it seems, this time as Fallen waits for the flashbangs.
Interesting way to bait it in as well, because you're playing 2 on the Bale side. Normally you set a crossfire, so that could work for them, and it does. The unfortunate part is that they had 3 players there. The 3rd was FNX. He got found by Freiburg, and Fur's gone so low. It should be picked up, but
no HP.
Don't count your chickens before they hatch. Close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, and that, my friend, is a bullet from Fur. He's brought this back to 3 versus 3.
Yeah, I thought Fur was dead to rights there. Freiburg should have taken him down, but the crouch P coming in, takes it on. 3 on 3 now. Forrest just on that Tech 9.
He's got good position, though.
Where is he?
Fur knows he's somewhere inside of the site, but can't find him. He's wrapped behind the APC. Fur's a sitting duck at this point in time. Does try and find the look. Forrest has the advantage of that low HP, and now he can cover off these rotations. It's not a fake this time. Last time he was holding off these positions, these rotations. They snuck in the B site. They're going to go on this time. They've cleaned out A in its entirety. Cold tries to cover the crossover, but can't do anything with the AK. And guns picked up. AK's out. Forrest on the Tech 9. Don't have much ground to walk on at this point. SK is Cold, just with the smoke dissolving in front of the connector now, is thinking otherwise. They both do have kits, so they've got a little bit to work with in terms of finding these picks, but good post-plant positions coming off. Good shot to come back through. Get Right takes down Taco. It's low HP as well on Cold. And this could be the 7th round for NiP. I dare say it is, as they start to walk in behind him. Let's not get too committed to walking out early, but thankfully, just inside of the site, Exist is still there.
Long A is becoming a real nuisance here for SK Gaming. They're sending 3 players there in that position this time. They're trying different setups, but the flashbangs come in. It was an equal exchange, to be fair, but then we're falling back. We've got Forrest, who's made it up to APC undetected. He takes down further as low HP, and the retake at that point is just an absolute nightmare for SK Gaming. Money's in the bin once again. They can't string anything together here. $1,400 coming into their bank account to do buy the Max 7 once more on the CZ. But to be fair, Matt, the only rounds they're really posting are these force buys and these eco rounds. We had the P250, amazing performance from Taco. And Maybe they can repeat that once again, as he has that same weapon, but it should be very unlikely. So far, NiP have played a very strong game, just letting themselves down in those really important situations.
Smoke's bounced over to cover off bottom of middle. We said this map couldn't allow the CTs to get as aggressive. That certainly proved to be true. We touched on the fact as well that economy to cover off choke points becomes an issue, and it certainly has been for SK. They've not had weapons, they've not had ample smokes. And usually we talk about early smokes going out on B to bleed them out in terms of long, drop, those being the issues. This has been all A, like you just mentioned last round.
Yeah. Well, at this point, when they're getting long A control every single time, they're pushing the CTs back. They still have their utility to work with as well. It doesn't seem like there's an answer for this moment. I'd like SK to be more defensive at this point. Let's get Fallen on the orbit, hit him on the site, allow NiP to commit first. So far, they're losing the altercations towards long A, and it's been a real problem for them.
For once, they may go toward this shotgun. Remember, 2 of the wins from SK came with equipped weaponry. 4 spies, and the shotgun does find one this time. Headshot as well, chance for 2. Drops bomb a 3rd time, can't land it onto Pith. So it does give some breathing space to NiP, but it calls for the rotations as well. Good shot from Pith and far. Knows Fallen's trying to shoulder bait out behind the tree as well, and as he does so, they try and capitalize on a boost back in from Taco. He's at long. He's trying to catch off on a flank. Freiburg spots him, but Cold gets get right. It's still a 2 versus 2. No reverse boost on the tree. They can't afford to do so. Both players staring them down. Fallen still baiting out. Good damage in as he gets a dink on the
There
pit.
it is.
But Freiburg walks in a lineup, and NiP find 8.
You can see how tentative they were. They can't lose another anti-eco, surely. We were praising them at the beginning of this game, saying that's what they're so good at. But there's been so many slip-ups in these sort of rounds, and it came very close once again for opening things up with some great work there. With the Mag 7, you can see maybe wanted to use a few more flashbangs there, smoke off those key positions there, trying to do it a little bit more simply, but we're going to round number 12. Still not fully recovered. It's going to be SK Gaming with a Famas, a UMP, 1 kit, Fallen with the AWP, sure, but he's got no grenades to work with him. He'll be going aggressive though. That's what we want to see. He takes down Forest to open things up.
That's exactly what we want to see. The AWP coming out, finally working for them as well. FNX follows up on Get Right. It's not impossible to think this half could close out 9-6, 8-7 if SK can get the momentum again, but it's going to be Pith pushing on. Fallen found. No rotation back from Fur to get to the top of middle. He's sitting right now in behind the half wall. Good shot as a result, because if he can't cross back over, it's the site gone already. And they wouldn't need much utility to hold off the rotations, but this does leave it to a 4 versus 2. Freiburg, overlooked perhaps by Fur, who goes hunting instead for Exist, and thankfully will take him down, giving the bomb up.
Yeah.
And they know exactly where Freiburg is.
Some very, very important kills there. And if had he been taken down at that point, could have fallen apart in the 2-on-2. But still, we have got Freiburg alive with time to work with as well. No nades for him, but the CTs actually going to be isolating him in towards this A side. Taco playing with fire, but does manage to get out and get the information.
Freiburg starts to go back the other direction as well, but Q stage right. I'm not sure Cold's got quite the lineup. Doesn't exactly have a shot, but he's there. And you'll hear him walking back out. Headshot comes through. Keep the AWP in the hands of Fur, so that'll be carried over into the next round, and now they can try, with 3 players staying alive, to get something rolling. They don't have that much further to go to break NiP as well.
I think they have already.
Yeah, they have, you're right.
Well, there it is. Finally, we can maybe string a couple of rounds together here. SK Gaming being a bit more assertive at the start. It's Fallen with the AWP finally. He's on 2 for 10 right now, but one of the kills he gets in the previous round is actually maybe one of the most important so far for the team. He takes that down, he's able to fall back, and then Fur managing to step up there with the M4A4. Once again, Fallen trying to make something happen at the start of the round. Good time to do it. You can see this is a slight force by here, but Fur backing him up once again. He'll be finding that first frag.
Picked again.
Oh,
he
no.
stands in the open with the smoke. There's easier ways to throw that. Bounce it. And timing is everything. Is Get Right at the exact same moment takes down FNX. NiP can work on this again. Fallen elevated high on top of the site. Elects to jump back down as he spots one at the bottom of middle, but Get Right has prime position. Catches Taco, working him back through the vents. Tries to go for Fallen, has to reload Fallen. He's in a weird position though, nearly hits the shot. Doesn't matter though, Exists there. Get Right still in this with 10 HP. Means it's a 3 versus 1 on Cold Zero. He is slipping in on a flank from the bottom of middle. We talked about stringing rounds together, though. This is so important for them if they want to try and continue with money. Because right now, everyone on the SK side, he's got the most, 3,200, is pretty much broke. He's got in a position to try and capitalize on Exist. Spots the head, does find one, looks toward long. Wrong position to find, though. There's 2. It's Get Right, 10 HP, close on the site, looks over to underneath balcony. Thankfully, Get Right's not peeking back in the direction of him, and he's going to get spotted down by Pith in the end.
Well, there it is. Get right, I have to say. Fantastic flank coming in there, just as his teammates show their hand heavily towards middle as well. It's Fur to find that initial frag, but Get right comes in and somehow gets him towards the balcony, completely undetected as well. Fallen did what he could, lands an absolutely amazing headshot there towards mid. But Get right comes into the balcony, takes him down, and we have another nightmare situation for SK this time. It's going to have to be the force by coldzera, the only one of any weaponry here. He's got the M4A4 in hand, his teammates with pistols around him. And then Ninja surely going to close out on anti-eco. It seems like no one can at the moment.
Taco Cold FNXB, with Cold finally getting up underneath of the arch. Starting to see what little, again, CT aggression you can try and take advantage of come to play, at least for SK.
Yeah.
And it's the rifle, the one gun they're going to try and put in that position.
Just to set the scene for you here, Matt, if NiP win this round, it basically means 2. It will be 11-4. They'll have absolutely no money going into the next round. This force buy is pushing it a little bit, but let's see what they can do. It's been successful before, but coldzera is taking damage. He goes down to 9 HP, but just about survives. They might want to throw the M4 over to a teammate at this point. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, smartly so. Taco, come get it. Very, very slow from NiP.
They're just trying to feel the map out and work out what kind of buy is coming in. They know there's a force buy, but bleed out any potential nades. More of the same towards long A. Push them back, get this first frag. Pit's been so good in this position. They're actually finding these frags.
Current Fallen in behind the guys of smoke down at the bottom of this position, but Fallen loses himself in it. I'm sure he thought he was still inside of the smoke entirely. Forrest walks in and he's just sitting there. Get right may get a little bit hot and toasty with that Molotov getting tossed in from Fur, but he has just given himself up. They know he's at bottom mid, and I think they're going to boost up on the corner to try and find him. Not quite. They're just going to wrap around, make it more simple. And a good shot from Freiberg makes it all too easy. Spray into the smoke. Taco tagged, 14, but not downed. And that'll keep the M4 in their hands. As you say, no money.
Yeah, they have
backing away already to just save that one gun. They'll leave FNX close so they can at least call out if there's any aggression toward it.
This was a full force buy. $0, you can see that being pointed out right now. They only get 1,900 into the next round. That's not enough to buy any sort of weaponry here. And FNX, he needs to try and salvage that weapon if he can. He finds one kill. It's only going to get him $300 at this point. He needs to try and pick up the AK-47. Freiberg knows that. He's watching that position like a hawk right now. Taco, not going to be part of this action. He's actually just sit towards the B platform, try and keep the M4 in his hand. Can FNX actually pick up this weapon? Surely not. Okay, maybe he can. Freiberg,
that's big.
Pants down there, it seems.
And thankfully, he's the one with 100 HP.
He didn't even need to commit to that, right? All he had to do is hold the angle, fight the vent, and stop him crossing, get the weapon. He actually overcommits there, and maybe gives him a lifeline here. They've managed to pick up an AK-47, and he can drop a UMP for a teammate. They've actually made that a lot more promising for themselves.
But NiP, for the second straight map, have the massive lead as we close in on the first half. Round 15. With those 2 rifles, they've managed to pick up 2 UMPs. They'll go with the CZ on Fur, but they've got decent utility. No kits is the problem, just one.
If FNX lights them up with the AK-47 now, that last kill will be so important. Let's see how this one goes down. 2 rifles, 2 SMGs, a CZ, and Get Right's made his way through the smoke.
Very fast play from Get Right to get to these stairs. They're not going to be ready for this. Taco considers it. Missed shot from Get Right gives him a bit of a chance for the repeak, but Get Right can very easily and safely get back inside the corridor with those double smokes out and a flash. Make sure Taco doesn't try and spray through and catch him. So maybe a little bit of map control you could argue lost, but it's not crucial. It's the choke point rather than the actual corridor itself.
It's a much more passive setup on the CTs this time. You can see Fallen actually falling back. He's only got that SMG this time. No AWP to work with. First going to be towards the bottom of the middle. Uses the flashbang to try and gain some sort of ground here. Smoke's deployed as well, where Freiberg has got control towards the end of long A. Get Right exists, getting rid of that flank though. A split potential, very strong indeed. But the bomb is still down on the B horse. They're not committing just yet.
Fallen waiting inside stables, not outside where you normally see the wide swing. He's waiting for the commitment. Yeah. No one inside of the hut or top of the connector to try and catch him off when they push into, so he's pretty much alone on this with Fur at the bottom of the ramp. And the smokes should indicate, yeah, exactly that. He's close up. Fallen's going to do the same in reverse. They're going to push through. Flash in. Doesn't matter. Fallen finds 1, 2 as well. A second and onto the AK. Fur missed times with the reload after taking down Forrest, but Cole rotates in time to save his teammate. And SK, they may get 5 at the end of the half. Exists caught entirely unaware. It's going to be exactly that. 10-5. Great round from Fallen.
Very strange half, I have to say, Matt. A lot of force buy wins. No one seems to really actually getting a huge amount together, especially SK. They couldn't really get multiple rounds. Economy was a huge burden for them. Most of their round victories actually coming from those CZs, the shotguns, the P250s. a very strange one to watch, but still anyone's game at this point. SK move over to the T side, which is certainly more favored.
Well, we'll see if they can pull it back.
Intel Extreme Masters Oakland is brought to you in part by Intel, HyperX, G Fuel, Kingwin, iBuyPower, Best Buy, Totino's, Acer, and Xfinity.
One half remains, and NiP definitely have the lead right now over SK. It seems like a long time since the first map train was in their favor. They've played catch up on the last one. They're gonna have to do it again here.
Yeah, strange first half to kick things off, but still anyone's game here. SK Gaming managing to pick up that last round with the SMGs and the pistols there. It's gonna be 5-10 as they swap over. And 4 sets of armor as they're purchased. Fallen with the Molotov and smoke grenade as we get into this final half of the entire tournament. It's gone the full distance so far, but here we are, NiP versus SK Gaming. One of them looking to take home the lion's share, $300,000.
And Pith, again, stepping up tremendously. He's on 10 kills right now. Frag distribution between both teams, despite the scores, quite close. Which means the rounds were quite evenly contested. There was only a few that were quite lackluster, one-sided, but we're underway. It's going to be kits in just Freiburg's hands, and the rest on armor. Molotov and Flash for Fallen, so 8 people running the Kevlar. First gone fast. He's already inside of the site. 4 spotted barrels. He could be a sitting duck, but he's got Get Right to cover him off. And what a great job he's done, because down goes Fur. Damage in, but back the other way. It's Forrest and Freiburg to fall. FNX tries to rotate back around, catch out exactly where Pith's gone as he gets back inside from the door. As he does so, Get Right goes down, and it's a 4 versus 2. SK, it's gonna be the perfect start they need to bring this back to a close crescendo to this IEM Oakland. Smith tries to do what he can, searches for the doorway behind him because he gets a little caught up on the edge of it. Don't will exist out of this. The problem is the fact that the bomb has been planted, the kit's been downed inside of the site. They've got a long way to go to try and grab it. Exists falling, does get one back pick, but down this wide peak. What a reaction as he finds FNX. Now he's given himself a bit of an opportunity, but again, time is against him. He's got to go so quickly, spots up a third, gets the shot as well, jumps it over. But again, no time, he's got no kit, doesn't pick it up. Did pick it up, actually. He's going to try and hold this. Taco's going to go for the wide peak. I thought he missed it. So Taco hits the shot. What a job done by Pith to bring that down. Either way, he's picked up some money for himself.
Well, there it is. Very fast and assertive round there from SK Gaming. It's committing towards the A side there. It's almost a perfect read. It was just Forrest by himself on the A side. The rotations come in from Get Right, but still bomb goes down. A very unfavorable situation for NiP, but Pitt brings it down to the 1v1. And with the kid as well, actually had enough time to defuse if he went for it at that point, but it was going to be taken down in the 1v1. We have got the 4 HE grenades now. We call this the airstrike. When you go towards that B side, you wait for the commitment towards that upper platform, and you drop them on top of them. They're actually focusing towards drop down at this point, not doing a tremendous amount of damage, but some.
It's quite clever, actually, to throw them that early on drop down, because the difference of going to long is you're not sure they're going to be there. But pretty much every default runs through those B tunnels, so you get some damage rather than none at all. And as a result, they get Fur on 64, Cold on 77.
It's not necessarily a full investment here on the second round. When you have these kind of leads on the CT half, you want to leave some residual cash for the grenades and not get yourself in that position. If you lose the first gun round, you're in a horrible position going forward. So they're going to have P250 short and an HE grenade, but they haven't got the armor. Get Right does fully invest with the Nova and body armor, but taking a little bit of a risk and see if he can just find one kill. That's the high risk, high reward kind of scenario with the Nova. You get $900 per kill with that weapon.
Cold and Taco trying to work toward this B site. That's the right choice as we see it. That staff existing on A. Speaking of, it's Fallen that's going to start to evaluate that. Get the information, gets tagged heavily as well, down to 19. The only challenge over at the B site, gone. Exist gets found at Broken Wall. They're not quite convinced to walk in just yet, but as they go, they'll realize it is going to be the correct decision, and Fallen should make that call now, having gone down to Forest. So, enter the bomb, cue the plants. FNX to do so. Boost going back up. This should put them in a position for exits.
Yeah, they got PD-50s. They picked up a UMP as well. The Nova's still running with Get Right, so it was another little A stack coming in from NiP. And unfortunately for them, SK Gaming opting to go towards the B side. It's going to be Exist taken down, bomb planted, like he said. And it was in the NiP, just trying to save what they can, try and get some active frags here. Freiburg's the first player to go down, but it's Forrest. He's got the SMG along with Get Right, and teammates are going to start falling at this point, but still just going to try and hold these weapons towards T-spawn.
They should get away with it entirely. So better than nothing, I suppose, going into the next round, but still it'll be SK with weapons and NiP with just these two. It's a 10-7.
Yeah, well, it's a clean round overall for SK Gaming, keeping 4 players alive as well. Not really much NiP can do with even with the saved weapon, and he can't really justify force into this round. So Get Right, he still has his Nova and the body armor as well. Forrest with that SMG. So we play now of Coldzera, some lovely shots there from the UMP to find 2 headshots and drop down. But here we go then. 3 SMGs still rolling for SK Gaming. 2 MAC-10s. Very mobile indeed. Up against these unarmored players as well. Should be quite easy pickings here as they go into another default. Don't need to overcommit, don't need to rush. And you can see there, there's a little CT there, trying to get a little bit cheeky there. I think that was Freiburg with the PD-50 trying to find that first kill, but can't really find anything for it.
Freiburg gets a little bit up close and personal with Fallen. Probably not advised. He goes down to the UMP. This is going to be the one to cover off the drop room, and Fur easily takes him down with a headshot. We'll see if there's a bit of a change in terms of drop. We didn't see a lot of emphasis on it in the last half from NiP. Good shot from Get Right in return, but Cold's able to find him as they've already walked in from long at B, and he's wrapped all the way through. That's usually a talking point, a constant talking point, that drop position, and we haven't seen much of it so far.
Well then, just Forrest remaining now, SMG in hand. Certainly a viable weapon to take over into the first gun round, but I don't think that's going to happen. Fallen will find him, and there it is. A pretty much clean sweep there from SK Gaming, just dropping 1 frag. Get Right. Importantly, he gets one with the Nova, so that boosts his economy going forward. And here we go then. Pitt comes in with the AWP on the first gun round. Like I said, he didn't really fully commit in the second round. They want to make sure they have this as an option, have a kit, some utility to work with as well. It's looking quite good. And Pitt, he's actually got a decent spawn. He could go towards middle if he's feeling like it. Looks like he will just be opting towards B, the safer option. And we still have Fallen on the SMG. Looking like there's only 5 players with a heavy commitment towards B at this point. Could just be a straight up B rush here. Will be smoked out. There's still no one towards the A side of the map.
Everyone set for execution. Fast hit. And the position's now crucial. Exist is going to play toward that chicken coop. He's favoring off to the left side, the conservative approach to bait them in toward Pith and Get Right. He wants to get forward to these smokes. They're deep smokes, so it's not a perfect wall. There's a gap in behind the tree. Pith's got some room to work with on this AWP, and Get Right, he's gotten extremely close, down to Fallen as he jumps back in with the UMP and the AWP gone. But look at Freiburg, oh, only one. He gets countered out immediately. It's all Exist, though. He did wait the entire time. Pops out late, drops the bomb. We didn't quite see it. It's on to Fur now, coming in from the drop position, and he's got no idea. Immediately to his left, Forrest is waiting in the cubby. Shots come through, gives him away. Forrest waits and takes him down.
Well, very well recovered there. I thought Pitts had thwarted his chances of actually winning that round by missing a couple of sitters there towards the upper platform, but Exist stepping up. I believe he's towards the chicken coop as well. It's a full execution from SK Gaming. It's a bit of a Hail Mary play. You're assuming the CTs don't have much money to work with. You're not normally anticipating the AWP there. They do the full execution that's designed to take the AWPs out of the game, and that wasn't really the problem. It's Exist lying in the back. He finds 2 kills and gets NiP back into this one. 11-8. Still money available here, and that's going to be shown with the AWP purchase. And Forrest this time, he's got the AWP. He'll be going aggressively towards middle with Fallen running through fire. Does get a kill, but Freiburg takes him down from the grave.
Little smiley face in chat immediately after from Freiburg. And Fallen responds with, a dead man is a dead man.
So he knows he's dead from the Molotovs. He thought, I'm going to take you down with me, Freiburg.
So that leaves us 4-4. Push up from Pith. He's already inside of the B corridor. First time we've seen anyone get this far up. Cold. Very passive angle, and it's aggressive all the way around from NiP. Taco catches out Get Right, though. Doesn't quite open up the A site because Forrest isn't far behind exactly where his teammate dropped. But Pitt's going to get aggressive, go around, and Cold's waiting. So the aggression from NiP the whole way around doesn't work. We saw it on Cash where it did. This time, it's the opposite effect, 4 versus 2.
Exist and Forrest now to hold them off. They are on other sides of the map, so they do have presence there, especially Forrest in towards danger. The problem is the bomb will be heading in towards drop down. Currently in the hands of Cold Zera. They've got plenty of time to work with here. Don't need to overcommit. Just try and work out whether it's a double stack on one side of the map or whether they are split up indeed. And Exist now. He was a snake in the grass before in that chicken coop area. With 30 seconds remaining at this point, if he finds 1 kill and can stay alive and just keep them interested in him while the rotation comes in from Forrest, he could stand a chance there. Very unlikely. Let's see if he can find anything with this position.
Cold leads the way through. Back to back for Exist in the same position. Can't imagine exactly that. They're going to allow it. Molotov goes in instantly, tries to flash his way back out. Does still find 1, but stays in the flames a little bit too long. Bomb in for FNX. 8 seconds left on the clock, so they do it timely. Forrest AWP, I imagine, will be heading for the hills, perhaps even the Rapunzel Tower to just sit and wait.
Yeah, like we said, Exist, very unlucky to do much with that position. Gets Molotoved as well. That certainly doesn't help the proceedings. He gets 1 kill. Not really going to be enough at that point. It's refragged straight away by SK Gaming. And like I said, Forrest is saving this AWP. The problem is that's a pretty harsh reset. But I guess the good news is he's got the AWP to take the next round. If they did have a superstar AWPer, let's say someone like Fallen or Guardian, that can be very influential. Forrest certainly capable of the weapon, but you don't really expect him to be able to go absolutely ham on this map and be able to open things up by himself while he's surrounded by pistols. So he may be able to find a couple of openings here or there. It's difficult on Cobble, though. We described it at the beginning of the game. It's difficult to find any sort of aggressive pushes on Cobble, especially on the CT side. And this is where he said a dead man is a dead man. You can see he's got Molotovs either side of him. Might as well try and take one down with him. Everyone seems to be burning alive here. In round number 20.
Seems to be a more common trend that people are committing to frags inside of flames.
It's just
they understand trades.
It's not expected, to be fair, right? So you're just thinking, oh, no one's going to push through there. But you can get a kill, especially on the T side, moving down to a 4-4. That's actually quite beneficial for your teammates.
And Forrest will keep the AWP as well, because keep in mind, Pith has been CT side opping for them. But he's not gone overly aggressive. He's actually just sitting at the top of the CT side of mid, waiting for the push through. I'll make his way to the stairwell. This is close with him. Different weaponry between the 2 pistols, one on a Deagle, one on a P250. Freiburg again is getting close to the bills. Taco, shoulder shown, fires back in. Freiburg baited in on those shots. Has to run because the AK is approaching far too quickly to contend with. That's where the AWP is as well, and Forrest can't hit the shot on FNX. Good shot from Freiburg. Brings the AWP immediately back into it, but it's Freiburg on it. No rotation over quite yet. In fact, Pith gone down, so can't get that over into his hands. He'll have to hold on to it himself. He's gone back to the same position before started the round in, and this will rotate the bomb back over. They've been discouraged. Cold instead. Battle with Exist. Does take a dink, but wins the kill. That should bring bomb entirely onto B.
Yeah, well, at this point, they know Freiburg has got the AWP towards middle. He's going to be rotating to the B side, but we can see it's actually going to be around the mid doors for now. Get right with a chance to do something about this, but they will be going for the safer bet. It's sticking as a full-man unit towards the B bomb side, but like I said, Freiburg is there. Not known for his AWPing prowess, but let's see if we can find anything here.
He's got a passive angle for when they commit to the site. They've got 1 smoke to cover that exact position. They don't do it, don't need to. Not with shots like that from Cold. bomb again to be planted quite simply. As Get Right at least picks up an AK-47, it's something to salvage. He'll wait back out toward the statue as well.
SK Gaming starting to tie things up here as well, and to be fair, it should be another eco coming from NiP, only $900 once again after winning that 4th round and a hard reset coming in. Get Right trying to save the AK-47 the best he can. He will be towards the B holes, just holding for any exits at this point. Not really worth SK Gaming going for it, like we said. It's just trying to stick together and try and refrag if possible. They're going to be exiting through connector, it seems, as well, and drop down. Just making sure there's no ninjas lying around in more ways than one. And the bomb will be exploding 11-10 here. Get Right will be surviving with his AK-47. Cold Zero, like you said, a great shot on the Freiberg, who was waiting with the AWP, but not really much NiP could do with that round. He had 1 AWP, 4 pistols, unless Forrest could find some very aggressive peaks at the start of the round. It was very unlucky he could actually do anything with it.
1 round separates map 3.
Friendly chicken.
Finally, they cheer about something, and I cheer about chicken too.
Yeah.
I'd eat that chicken right now. I'm kind of hungry. It's going to be Forrest and Freiberg again over toward A. It's going to be just that AK for Get Right. He's toward drop room. He'll try and hold that off again. Very passive from SK. It seems to be the trend where economy and anti-ecos in this game are all we're seeing, and we're seeing them play quite smart and disciplined from both sides.
Well, Get Right, he's got the AK-47. He'll actually be towards the connector for now, but Third is clear in that position now. He's actually had quite a lot of vision there. He's worked out there's no real presence from the CTs at all in that position, so he could drop into that if he wants to. But you can see it's very similar to what NiP were doing before. It's going to be Taco, joined by Fallen as well. He's using the flashbang to get some long air control. Just seeing if there is a stack here. Forrest will be waiting on the other side, but not really much he can do here. The beat in 50. Taco blows his head off there and brings it to a 5-on-4 in favor of SK.
Good pick to find early on as well, because it'll start to open up rotations and movement from the defense. Most notably, they need to figure out exactly where Get Right is with that weapon. Not yet been spotted over toward B, but that may not matter in the end if they can continue to find openings on A. Also gets a quick shot on toward Exist. They have rotated all 4 players on this side of the map. Fallen and Taco, they might be separated from their team, but they're making the right calls as a result, because Bomb's heading toward, once again, an open B site, and Taco's going to find Exist as well. Doesn't exactly spot the cross, but now they know exactly where the AK is. Commit to B, Bomb going in. And the plant should follow quite quickly and quite easily.
Indeed, well,
shot. That's
okay.
Pretty decent through the door, actually, because what this does is pull this back to a 3 versus 2, and they've gone to get a gun on Freiberg. He may not have armor, but now it's 2 AKs in this, and they can actually start to commit because they'll be able to buy in the next. No kits, though, is a bigger problem. Get Right holding for an angle, tries to fire a quick shot over top of the ledge. FNX not quite caught by it, but now he's got better position as he jumps back up. 2 versus 2, no one's out toward long, and Get Right's pushing further and further in, putting further pressure onto Cole to try and peek this back. Remember, no kits becomes a problem. That's ticking far too quickly, and he's not quite in a position to cover him. Freiberg, lovely shot from Cold, should wrap the round alone as Freiberg's committed. First shot in success, does towards some reinvestment, but Fallen keeps his AWP.
Still very close indeed, comes down to a 1v1, and that's 1 AK in the hands of Get Right, finding 3 kills there, looking very strong indeed. And comes down to the 2-on-2, but there's no kits, like he said. They're just trying to take some money out of the hands of SK Gaming. We go into round number 23. We tied things up at 11-11. 5 M4s across the board.
It's our score, Henry.
And 1 defuse kit, that's it.
Fallen off is going to wait for any aggression all the way through. Again, we see that airstrike, and it's on to drop. They're trying to just find early damage in this case, again, with weapons up. If they can just get the shots down, especially with M4s. Into 1 bullet territory. That's a benefit. Fur does go down to 64. He's the only one that takes damage from it, but it also means he can go, or there has to go, a little bit more passive in trying to pursue drop. Smoke out at long as well is going to dictate the pace for at least the start of this. That's the utility we talked about baiting out, because they've just thrown a secondary flash, and I believe they've re-smoked that as well. No, not quite, not yet. So still have a little bit to work with on the CT side, but it's all actually going to be Molotovs left. No smokes to work with.
This is very textbook so far from SK Gaming. They've got control of danger as well. Smoked off long A. This will be clearing that side of the map out. The bomb's still down in B hall, so like we said before, taking this vision away from the CT, trying to find that first pick if possible. Problem is, NiP don't really have an AWP on the A side, can't really have that turret set up on that side of the map. That's why they have to commit 2 players there for now. Gonzera comes in, the Molotovs very effective at flushing CDs out in this upper platform position. Pitt and Exist trying to boost up here and try and challenge.
Pitt boosted. Box in front, waiting for someone to push in. Exist rather for anyone to push in through that smoke and catch them off before they enter to try and use that to their advantage. 29 seconds, they've got to go. Bomb in the hands of Fur. Smoke gone, so Exist down below in the box, but flash comes through. His timing could be everything on the peak. Exist gets taken down. Pitt's got the response. He's got a lineup, takes the bomb as well. Never mind the kill on the A site, because that bomb is everything with 15 seconds Fallen responds to take Pith. It should bring the plant in as well, and Get Right needs to be careful of the rotations coming back into connector. Can't get there to deny the plant, but does take the planter down immediately after, and Freiburg cleans up. It's all onto Taco, and his position's not prime to at least get on to Get Right away, but he doesn't hold, doesn't commit, puts him at long, takes the first kill. He now has the advantage. He's got a Molotov as well. Freiburg, no kit, so close, can't get the kill when the Molotov comes out. That might wrap the round alone. As Freiburg gets aggressive, knows he has to go into that corner, he's gonna check it, baits out the shoulder, and Taco again. How solid has he been all tournament long?
Every single clutch is seeing me stepping up time and time again. A true superstar this tournament. Taco, 2 versus 1. You could see Get Right there trying to bait him out of the upper platform. He actually had no idea. He could have full defuse at that point and actually got away with it. And this is really smart from Taco. I thought it was a bit risky. Like you said, he's exposed at that point, but still he lands a Molotov on top of the bomb with no kit as well. Freiburg has to go for the kill. It's a huge round to pick up, and the SK Gaming take the lead at this point, 12-11. And it's going to be another eco for an IP. Not really bringing too much to the table as well. Fast play towards middle though. A little bit risky before he gets that first frag. Forrest strikes back, but quickly shut down as well.
Hesitant to set that crossfire early. Forrest wasn't quite in position. Again, we're seeing the anti-ecos. Success rate much unbroken, aside from a few quick rounds early on from SK in the first half. It's stabilized ever since. 1 versus 4 for Exist and NiP. We haven't seen a lot of the timeouts come in. May need to start thinking about that as we're getting on to championship ending territory.
I don't think we've seen a single pause on Cobble so far. So yeah, that's actually a really good point. You think there's so much on the line right now. There's been so many weird rounds in this game. Surely you just take a breather and just work out how you're going to approach it, maybe work out the money a little bit more. But still, there it is. SK Gaming really running away with the second half. It's 8-1 right now. 13-11, finally money coming back to the favor of NiP. Not out of it just yet. They can bring a double up. Oh, God, here we go, Matt. It's going to be the auto sniper back out once again. A bit of a crowd favorite. And it's going to be Forrest with the AWP as well.
Crowd favorite, maybe.
Yeah.
When you're not in the server against it. It's Exist once more that's going to wield it. Is it desperation or is it a curve?
He did well towards the end of Cash with it. Some very influential kills, especially towards that mid area.
Oh, I was thinking Taco was going to go fast. The smokes come out just in time to slow them down. All 5 players here for SK as well. No push up on the A site to get that information from NiP. And Exist is relying on no utility to move him from that chicken coop again. The last time they did flush him out, but the round before, keep in mind, because of the way Pith and Get Right played, they pulled the aggro and they never pushed him back. Freiburg's gonna hold off the drop. 3 players down in that position. Molotov goes back in from Freiburg. That'll contain them from going toward window and lock them inside E-Box. And Cold, he's gonna wait for that smoke to dissolve. And as he does, Pith walks through. Bit of an overcommitment from him. I believe He thought they were going backwards on it, and they are now. But that's only because they got a kill to bring this back to just a 1-man advantage for NiP.
He's opened the window now. Get Right on low HP, and Pith pushing into the drop down. It wasn't really required considering the situation. Get Right now, dangerous position. Cold Zero doesn't face at the right time. But still, a possible round for SK Gaming still.
And Get Right rotating back in B does fortify, okay, where the bomb goes down, but it opens up the possibility for them to take over that drop position for a split. I don't think that's entirely what's going to happen in terms of wrapping back to A, as bomb is looking increasingly toward B. Keep in mind, we still have Exist. He's the curve in this. Chicken coop with the auto sniper, baits out, shot, still finds the head. Taco down, he's got another chance! Exist on the auto! It works once more, and it's just Cold remaining. He's gonna find it as well. I'm not gonna doubt Exist anymore on that weapon.
It's a crowd pleaser, Matt, and the stadium erupts as he finds 3 kills towards the end there. Some life still in NiP, it seems. That's only their second round here in the second half, but still a very close game. 13-12 is the replay right now. Just walking into the crosshair couldn't be more ideal for him as he finds Taco first and ends up with 3 kills in total. FNS gets the same treatment there. Lovely work. It's a last-minute desperation call in for NiP, and it works out tremendously. Still money available, of course, for SK Gaming. The AWP comes back in for Fallen. As we're going to round number 26, we'll go in the distance here on Cobble.
Taco boosted right side to cover off any push through. Freiburg, Forrest, a little more passive inside A this time, looking to get an early rotation back over toward B. SK only lead by 1. Cut back slightly. They've got only a buy-in hand on Taco, actually. So this actually matters both ways. Whoever loses this is going to be broken. For NiP, that could be masterful because Pulls them back to 13-13 for SK. It could almost be the game. It'll put them 14-12 against Nico. Smokes to go down, bounce through, cover off right side. Flames will prohibit Fur from dropping in and going off to the left. A quick flash as well. And they'll slowly take the position in it. We've seen Shocks do this under the greatest amount of confidence. Drop down with an AWP, and I won't doubt Fallen for finding an opening because they masked him getting in here with, oh, a flash, and exactly that, Fallen. Fast reactions finds Pith. Now they know he's there, so they can't overstep inside of the site. Instead, they've got to watch toward Long to make sure he doesn't get a support team in place so they can pinch in for the bomb plant. And they're pulling the rotations early. The auto sniper's trying to tap in over top as Get Right as well, doing the same with the AK. But he's got to move away from that position toward the stairwell. And as he does, Taco finds it exists again. Not this time. Cole denies it. Forrest on the site only gets one as FNX pulls back in. It's all onto Freiburg. He's got it back down to a 1 versus 2. Bomb is in front of him, but Fur is directly behind.
Well, there it is. What an opening shot it was from Fallen. Like you said, we saw Shoxy with that same sort of approach before when they were playing Envious, but this is such a sick shot from Fallen. Opens things up, and the B-bomb site falls to pieces there, as Exist can only find 1 kill with the auto sniper. Forrest tries to help out, but just leaves Freiburg in a 3 versus 1. That's it, and now the money. It's in the bin map. 14-12, they're coming in with SMGs, shotguns, and 2 M4s there. Very little utility as well. This could be the GG round. After this, they only get $1,900. SK Gaming now in touching distance of taking the championship.
Pith getting into the corner to do whatever he possibly can. And as you're right, this force buy is everything. Shotgun as well for Pith.
Well, we did see SK Gaming win a lot of these rounds with very similar weaponry. You don't favor an IP, but there's always hope. Especially when the shotguns are out on Cobble. 2 M4s and Freiburg on that 5-7.
3-man over towards Statue at A side for SK. Taco's slowly going to start to push, gather what information he can at long A. One there from the NIP side, but he'll take no chances. Can't afford to at this point in time in the tournament. A fight back again from SK on this map, and they've got a hefty situation in front of them in terms of momentum and opportunity. Forrest is in the doorway though. Nade's going through, he knows they're there. First headshot, completely unscathed. He'll reset his location, but he's got to make sure his teammate is fully covering off behind him at bottom and middle, and that's Freiburg's job. With him safely there, he can still try and push back into this long position, but smartly SK's not going to overcommit. In fact, they're just going to hold this position for FNX, and if Forrest gets too aggressive, he'll walk back out into his crosshairs.
Well, that first kill was very important indeed. A lot of work to do here. They've fallen. That's an interesting decision. And Freiburg capitalizes, taking them down with the 5-7 there. Suddenly there's a chance for an IP, but first fighting back.
And Fur fighting back in a right time. Although Forrest is there, catches bomb. Because I was going to say that FNX got in behind Forrest, but he elects to go immediately into the site instead. It might have been too soon because Forrest staying alive has dictated the course of this round. It's over. 3 seconds, no plant possibility, and FNX needs to make sure he stays alive here. If he goes down after the round, it's no money. I think they've got enough to work with. Smartly, he gets away from the fight, and he'll keep that AK.
No, the money's not like great.
He didn't actually have, you're right, he's at 2450. That could have been huge, and finally we get a pause coming in from SK.
Well, Forrest, just when they need him, he rises to the occasion there from danger. 3 great kills of him using that M4 to full effect. I have to say, that commitment from Fallen, uncalculated potentially, as Freiburg finds it with the 5-7 there. The round falls apart. As I said, had SK won that round up against it, they could have actually closed the game out then and there.
And here's a thought. When you consider where we were in Pro League in Brazil with multiple timeouts, back-to-back, the new rule finally getting exploited, and I will say that word. This is the first time out in two maps, and both of those maps went almost all 30 rounds.
It's true. Wow. We have got SK Gaming now still with the lead, but in a very difficult financial situation. It's around 2K across the board. I think we've got Cold Zero on a little bit more than that. FNX, he saves an AK-47. His teammates not forcing into this one. It's a partial buy, but we do know how deadly SK Gaming are with the Tech-9s. This certainly isn't going to be a clean-cut affair. This game has been very interesting in terms of the force buys. The lesser weaponry seem to deliver every single time. The friendly chicken is back.
I like him. You said he was friendly. I won't eat him. Just the other
one.
He
first made his appearance in Cologne 2015. And he seems to be joining us in Oakland as well.
Tech-9 Taco, AK FNX. He's the only one. Full Glock for Fallen. Glock buy is my favorite buy. Taco, flash in. Pitt's going to dodge that. He's faced into the corner. The shotgun might finally come to fruition, but he can't find the lineup. Does now, and Get Light's got the second member. Cold down instead, but watch Fur wrapping in. Fallen finding a kill. There was an opportunity for him to find a little bit more, and Exist is forced onto the pistol. Forrest is there nonetheless. 14-14.
Here we go. Another pause comes in. Fallen calls it. It's going to be tactical, of course.
I'm not surprised. This is where we're going to start to see them come out back-to-back.
Of course, this is getting to the closing sectors now. Round number 29, it's 14-14. The money's not fantastic. Do they buy into this? It's 4K average across the board. That means you can get an AK, head armor, 1 smoke grenade. That's about it. You don't have the Molotovs to work with. You definitely don't have the AWP. Time to work out what's the play. Do you allow NiP to get to 15 points here, or do you force it? I think it has to be the latter at this stage, especially when you can get AKs, armor, and a smoke. It looks like they're going to be going for some utility here. 2 players opting for the Galils. Obviously, there's an option, that weapon slightly cheaper, coming in at $2,000 when you can get Molotovs, flashbangs, along with the smoke grenade purchased. And here we go then. All roads lead here for Oakland. Is going to be 14-14. It is a buy from SK Gaming. Another pause comes to an end.
And another round or the map where Exists Auto Sniper brings them back in. Keep this in mind as well. Columbus, not able to pay with Pith because he joins in after the proceedings of the major and the qualifications went in. I think he played a minor with another team, was actually the exact ruling. So they play with Threat, they lose their legendary status. A week later, they go to Malmo, they win the event. They bring him back in this one.
Can you imagine?
Possibility they do the same after winning an event with Michael Ailey as well in the middle of all that.
Very similar situation at this point. If they win this round on NiP, that could be the championship moment.
Forrest just missed an opportunity to try and find a shot down to bottom middle. That's going to force him back inside of the A site, and it allows 3 players from SK to get toward danger. And they're getting a lot of map control to execute with. No rotation coming over from a 3rd player either. So normally when this happens, you rely on a player to get to balcony to cover the cross so one can bait from inside the site. Forrest can't do that. He's had to go to the APC instead as a result. A much more forward position. Fortunately, Smokes won't be out, but misses the shot between 2 of them. Now they know where he is. Back out. Hits the second one. Taco down. And Freiberg wins his battle down at the bottom of middle. Forrest relocating. And relocating into the grave in the end, but job done. He's found 2. That brings Get Right in to find 2 of his own, and they're on map and championship point.
They know what it means. They've really set SK Gaming at this point. There's only going to be $2,400 coming into there. They've got championship point. SK can only really bring Tech9s into this final round. The job's not done yet, but we're very close to completing it. Round number 30. It was a very simple approach there from SK Gaming, heavily coming towards long A, 1 in middle, just trying to smoke the connector and keep things simple, pushing in as a unit, but Forrest shuts them down. A little bit of help from Get Right as well. And here comes the final buy and the final pause, I believe, as well. So far the purchases come in. Like I said, $2,400 total coming into their bank accounts. They're going to have to get Tech9s, smokes, and try and see what they can bring to the table here. 1 round required to take it to overtime.
It's the 3rd pause. You say it's the final pause.
But yeah,
you could be right if NiP win.
Yes.
We still have some that could go into overtime as well, possibility, but it's a tough order for SK. They fell short in front of the home crowd. Went out in the quarterfinals, or rather, excuse me, the semifinals in New York. It's been a while since we've seen them dominate.
Wow.
Consistency's there, but domination's not.
So tantalizingly close for an NiP victory here. 5 Tech9s for the final round here. We know how strong SK are with these weapons. Are they strong enough to take round number 30 here? A very, very tall order.
All on the line. As Taco waits above the smoke at drop. They haven't gone for a fast play there in a while. They're going to do exactly that. FNX is down with him. Get Right's forced out. Double smoke position. He's got to go toward the rocket. They're going to wrap back around behind him. He's not going to react in time. He spots them late. Does get a shot into Cole. Finds the kill. But FNX through the door already onto Freiberg, who's got the information, and Forrest the kill as well. Pith, the first one to fall from the NiP side. Get Right's going to join him, but it's down to just for 15 HP inside the connector. NiP have him pinched off. They've got the bomb, and they've got a minute to think about this. Look at Get Right. He's already got 1 hand in the air. He's waiting for it. He wants that celebration. They want the trophy, and they've got it. NiP will take down SK on the return of Pith.
What a story. Pith's return. After a 3-month absence, they come back once again and win their 3rd tournament of the year. You can see what it means to them. Very emotional scenes there. Get Right. It looks like he's going to hold it together, Chris.
No, don't. Let it out. We love to see it. They are the first team. We said it, SK and NiP, the only 2 teams to win 2 $250,000 or plus tournaments this year. They're the first team to pick up 3 You have to consider them continuing to rise as a team after what an atrocious year it was in 2015. This has been an incredible return to form from them. Old guard, old legends. The core sticks together, the core wins again, and it's IEM Oakland champions in 2017, NiP!